looking at the All-Star reserves. It was easy for me to pick the East, and I'm like, okay, cool. Wow, how do I leave this guy out in the West? How do I leave this guy out in the West? They're having a great year, but all these other guys are having much better years. So you just look at the Pelicans and you wonder, does he see that as a team moving forward that he can stick with and they can actually, contend in the Western Conference? And no, I don't think so. And I think the writing was on the wall when Boogie Cousins left. I think that Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins were tight. And when he saw what they did, they just didn't even offer, like you said, they didn't offer anything to Boogie. Nothing. I mean, not a dime. Nope. Nothing. Really? Like, if you're going to do that to my friend, what are you going to do to me when it's, what are you going to do to me if something happens to me? So he's looking out for himself. Now, on the flip side of that, I get where everybody's coming from. It's okay, I think, to go to the team and say, look, either figure something out or I'm out of here. I think what the problem was and where it came into was that, what's his name? His agent's name.
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul, yeah.
So also is LeBron James' agent.
Right, Rich Paul, and don't even, that's a different, trust me, we can talk about that until the cows come home. But, so Rich Paul came out and literally said, hey, look, we want out of here, he wants out of here, he doesn't want to be here anymore. I get going to the team from the player's perspective, but when it gets out in the public like that, I think that's what really everybody's in an uproar about. Because, you can tell the team, sure, I don't want to be here anymore, trade me, whatever you want. And if they want to put it out, then they can put it out. But for you to put it out ahead, I think it almost forced their hand. And I think it was also, they wanted to force him to go. He wants to go to L.A. I don't think he really wanted to go to Boston. And he knew, and so did Rich Paul, that the only way Boston could get him is if they got rid of Kyrie Irving, because there's that, I guess, the Supermax. You can only have one Supermax deal or something like that.
It's called the D-Rose clause.
Okay. Yeah. So when you look at it, they're forcing him to go to L.A. because that's where Anthony wants to go. That's all really it is. It's just, and I'm not going to say LeBron James has a hand in it, but you just threw it out there. They have the same agent.
Conspiracy theorist Patrick Hillwig over here.
He wants to come here. I want him here. Hey, why don't you go tell them this and force them to send him here? The funny thing is I was looking and they said that the Pelicans GM's not even for a while there, wasn't even picking up the phone.
Well, no one refuses Magic Johnson's phone call. When Magic Johnson calls you pick up the damn phone. Right. You might say, I don't want to answer it in your head, but if you like your job and like your reputation in the NBA and it's Magic on the phone, you're going to pick it up. I get your point. And I also feel like, too, from the Pelicans, you don't really have to trade them. If you're willing to deal with the headache, you can keep him all season long. You can see, hey, will the New York Knicks get a top 2, top 3 pick? Can I get Zion Williamson? Is that possible? You can see Boston still has those Brooklyn Nets first-round draft picks. Still got Jason Tatum. Still got Jaylen Brown. A lot of young talent. Scary Terry still on that Celtics team.
Yep.
So you can hold on to this guy, have him be a grumpy grump on the bench, and then when July 1st comes, you can see what's out there. Or if you want to just say, wash your hands of it and start fresh, you can trade him now. So we'll have to see what they do. I mean, based on things like people getting their faces blacked out of videos, that's not really a welcoming maneuver. So I'd be very surprised if they kept him the whole season.
Oh, 100%. Now let me throw a little clog in the wheel here. So of course we're talking about Ball and Kuzma and what's his name?
Brandon Ingram.
Well, Brandon Ingram, but Zubac. I'm sorry, Zubac was the other guy that everybody was interested.
Everybody's on the trading block.
So then Ball comes out and Ball says, "Well, I don't want to go to the Pelicans because I don't want to fight for time behind Drew Holiday." And Ball basically says, "I want to go to either the Knicks or the Bulls." So now you got everybody wants Ball, but now Ball's saying I'm not going to go. So now you're making it to where it's not just a A and B trade. Now you got an A, B, and a C trade. So,
don't do what the Wizards and Suns and Grizzlies did, please.
Right.
Know the players' names,
right.
Full names.
Get the full names. Get everything correct the first time, and write on the paper. So, but yeah, I mean, it just kind of throws a little wrinkle into it when you got one player saying, "Look, you guys want to trade me? That's fine, but I'm not going here. I'll go here or here, but that's it." So, where are we at in the NBA right now? We got players saying they want to go somewhere. We got players saying they don't want to go somewhere. It's just like who really controls it right now?
It's a players' league, that's for sure. I mean, the players definitely drive it. If you didn't know that, you find that out pretty quick today. The Anthony Davis situation is very curious to me. And I mean, I'm a big Kyle Kuzma fan. I think that kid's a beast. But I also understand that Anthony Davis is one of those generational talents. They don't come walking down the basketball court so often. But if I'm the Lakers, if you can figure out some kind of way to get Anthony Davis and still keep Kuzma, Bron, Anthony Davis is a nice trifecta right there to build off of. Are they going to take out the Monstars? I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying the Lakers with just Davis and Bron, I don't like their chances. Davis, Bron, and Kuzma, I like their chances.
Well, then you hear that Klay Thompson might be interested in coming to LA if Golden State doesn't offer him the max.
Yeah,
if
his father played there.
Right, and LeBron, like you said, Kuzma, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis.
That's a squad.
Tell me that the Western Conference would not be set on fire. I mean, you talking about what Golden State did. Now, for the next 10 years, it's going to be what the Lakers did. I mean, granted,
He'll be 36 next year, I believe.
Right. He's not in the prime of his career. I mean, he's still, his numbers don't say he's not, but he's not in the prime of his career. He's getting close to 40. You know, it's going to be tough for him to keep that level of play up year after year moving forward. I mean, clearly we've seen this year with the injury, it's the longest time I think that he's been.
Most games of his career. Yep.
Right. So, you know, who knows what's going to happen moving forward with that. But, man, Klay Thompson going there, Anthony Davis going there.
That's nasty. I'm smiling right now. If we were on YouTube video, the smile on my face right now, thinking about that squad.
Shout out to my buddy Cliff, man. He's a diehard Lakers fan, and like he even hit me. I even said something to him the other day, and he goes, "Until it happens, I'm not going to say anything."
Hey, and don't forget too, man. Boogie Cousins only signed a 1-year deal with the Warriors, so I mean, he could be going somewhere else also. So, man, the NBA, like I said, never boring. We could sit here for hours talking about possible trade scenarios. But Anthony Davis, well, I think, obviously, next Thursday, NBA trade deadline, I want to say it's either 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. Shame on me for not having that written down in front of me. But it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of small moves there also. I mean, you think about players like us being diehard Wizards fans. Otto Porter, will he be gone? Will he get moved? There's a bunch of players in the NBA that I can see getting moved around different teams and different players. We'll have to see. I mean, you talk about it every show. Orlando needs a point guard. The Phoenix Suns need a point guard. Who is this point guard that gets traded? I mean, could you see Lonzo Ball, like you just said, being a New York Knick? I'm not sure how that works with Dennis Smith Jr. It's a very small backcourt, but it'd be an exciting backcourt. So, I mean, we'll have to see. Next Thursday will definitely be a day that everybody has their Twitter notifications on all day, all night long until the deadline hits. I mean, starting on Wednesday until the deadline's over on Thursday. I know every insider and writer who's legit that I follow, I will have notifications on for those people without a doubt, man. Exciting times in the NBA for sure, man.
Oh, 100%. You know, and we got the All-Star break coming up. I mean, this time of year, this time of year is one of my favorite times of the year. You got of course the All-Star break for the NBA. You got the Super Bowl coming. I mean, it's just this is my favorite time as a sports. Somebody that's into sports. This is one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, I think the NBA told the NFL, "This is your week. Okay, hold my beer." And then we had the Porzingis blockbuster trade, and of course Anthony Davis going on as well. As we usually kick off all our shows with our NBA power rankings. So before we jump into our NBA news and notes, we definitely want to go over our power rankings. I know I kicked it off last week, so I'll toss it to Pat, and let's see who the top 10 teams in the NBA are this week, according to Patrick Hilwig.
Man, you can't, to start off your top 10, you can't have number one if it's not the Warriors. You're looking at that team 10-0, won 11 in a row, big win after big win. DeMarcus Cousins scores 20 points finally. I mean, you're just looking at a team that's just on fire right now. At 2, I've got the Milwaukee Bucks. 3, I've got the Toronto Raptors. 4, Denver Nuggets. 5, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yes, last week I don't believe I had them in my top 10, or if they were 10, I think they were the 10th team last week. This week they're all the way up to number 5. Won 6 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. So they've been playing really well. The Rockets, I got a chance to watch Harden play the other day for the first time, really for an entire game. And, it's fun, it's exciting, but it's starting to get a little old just watching him shoot three-pointer after three-pointer, go 5 for 20, go 3. It's just crazy watching those games. But they're still number 6 right now. They're a great team. Kenneth Faried signing was a great
Hell yeah, for them. I like that.
So, and of course, Chris Paul coming back as well. At number 7, man, I got the Nets coming in at number 7. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 1 in a row. They've had a couple big games. They beat the Rockets. They beat the Celtics. They did lose the Celtics a couple times, but they've been playing really well as of late. I've got the 76ers coming in at 8. The Celtics coming in at number 9. They've won 2 in a row, but they're 7-3 in the last 10. And I'm finishing my top 10 with the Utah Jazz. I think they deserve it. I think that, like we talked about in the last show, they're one of those up-and-coming teams that's really getting back into form from what they were last year. Rudy Gobert's playing really good. Donovan Mitchell's playing awesome, too. So it's fun to see that team getting back into their regular season form.
Interesting. I think we have a very similar in some ways and different in others, as always. For my top 10 this week, like you said, I cannot deny it. The Monstars, a.k.a. the Golden State Warriors, number 1. I have the Milwaukee Bucks at 2. My number 3 team is the Denver Nuggets. I have the Toronto Raptors at 4. All the way up number 5, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. I, too, have the Houston Rockets at number 6. The Utah Jazz come in at number 7. Boston Celtics, even with that tough loss to Golden State, come in at number 8. I have the Philadelphia 76ers at number 9. I like the way they've been playing lately. And then, just like you said last week, you made a great point. You said our show, our rules. So at number 10, I have a tie. I have the Portland Trailblazers and the Brooklyn Nets, both ranked number 10 in my power rankings. I like the way the Blazers have been playing lately. And then, like we've been talking about him all season, I'm a huge D'Angelo Russell fan. We'll talk about him and being a potential all-star later on in the show. But also the injuries the Nets have taken, and they still keep finding a way to win. Just goes to coaching, teamwork, camaraderie, all those good sports cliches we love to hear. So I have the Blazers and the Nets tied to number 10 for this week in my top 10.
Yeah, man, you're right. We're pretty much spot on for just a couple of them here and there, maybe 1 or 2 spots difference. But I think you're 100% correct. I don't have the Blazers in my top 10, but it would be a tie for the Jazz right now in the bottom 10 because the Blazers really have been playing well. You know, they were one of my teams that I was going to mention later in my Hillward report. You know, of course, they won 3 in a row. They've had some big wins. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, you know, those two, obviously one of the best, you know, guard tandems in the league. And, you know, they've been playing well lately.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing about the Portland Trailblazers, too, is nobody wants to play them at home. Besides, only the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets, have better home records than the Portland Trailblazers. They're 22-7 at home. So I'm just a big Damian Lillard fan, not ashamed, not shy to put that out there. And then you and I both have been on the bandwagon. I think we're probably right behind the bus driver when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets bandwagon. You and I have been there since day one. So that's kind of our top 10 for this week. We'll have to see how that changes from week to week. And it's funny how we're starting to get those we're pretty much having the same teams, obviously, just moving up and down. Mm-hmm. And then we got some teams that have been up there consistently that haven't been up there in a while. I know both of us, for a while there, had the Spurs in our top 10. We haven't had the Spurs up there in a little bit, not because they're playing bad basketball, but because there's other teams just playing better. Like you mentioned about the Western Conference. That's how the NBA is. There's so many good teams. You can have somebody ranked 11 or 12 that you can make an argument for they should be in the top 10. So that's a good problem to have there for the league.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking a look at our news and notes for this week, of course, the conversation in Los Angeles has been about LeBron James, when he will come back. We talked about it earlier in the show. These are the most games LeBron James has missed in his career. Cleared for full contact practice a little bit later last week. Is listed as doubtful for tonight's game, so we'll have to see if he plays tonight. I definitely can see him playing before the All-Star break, I think, and hopefully be ready to go for the All-Star game. I know the fans would be super disappointed if he couldn't play in the All-Star game, but at the same time, he has a whole second half of the season he has to worry about, so we'll have to see what happens there. And sticking with the theme of the Lakers, a lot of rumblings about Luke Walton's future there, about the LeBron James camp, air quotes, wanting him to get out of there. Some of the possible replacements. I mean, I heard a crazy theory about Jason Kidd, the same guy that got blown out of Milwaukee, being a possible candidate to replace Luke Walton. So, I mean, if you remember last year, pre-LeBron, the Lakers team, that record, the way they played, in my opinion, Luke Walton kind of earned his stripes during that time period. And I don't think they should be looking to get away from him and get somebody else in there. But when you bring one of the most powerful players in the NBA, if not the most powerful player in the NBA, and the kind of still, like you talked about, who's in the back half of his career, if you're not getting it done in that guy's opinion, and he tells upper management that, they're going to listen. He's not only a box office draw, him being LeBron James, he's also making those guys play winning basketball when healthy. So, I mean, what's your take on Luke Walton?
Man, I think Luke Walton, he's one of those up-and-coming coaches in the league. You look at a guy that, when he was with Golden State, came in when Kerr had the back surgery, did an amazing job. When they signed Luke Walton, I was happy. I think he's a good player, or was a great player, and for have him there, I think that it's the right fit for them. Now, is it the right fit for LeBron? I can't really say. You've seen LeBron basically announce when he's done with a coach where, when he was with Cleveland, no matter where he is.
David Blatt.
Right, David Blatt. I mean, hey, there's a guy, let's bring him back. Who knows?
Lou.
You know?
Yeah, Tyronn Lue. Man.
It's just like,